Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Just before we get started, I would ask that if you enjoy or find this content helpful, to subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video. You'd really be helping me and the channel out a ton. One last thing is if you have any questions, topics you'd like covered, or any areas of the game you're having trouble with, feel free to leave that down in the comments and I'd be more than happy to cover it. Now let's jump right into the video. So today we'll be looking at another tough domain. This one is the Stone Forest domain where we farm the geo artifacts. So in the top right here, we can notice that my comp is composed of a water character, two electros, and then a healer. So the first part here is where the water character comes in. So I am using Child, but it does not necessarily have to be a damage dealing water character. All you need to do is proc the water debuff onto the character. The reason being is that in the center there, we do see the Cryo Orb. It will enhance this rune guard here with cryo every once in a while, and when that happens, you'll be able to freeze it. The reason you want to do that is, as you notice there, I am taking pretty good chunks of damage from the rune guard, and if you're able to freeze it, you'll be mitigating a lot of the damage that it'll be dishing out. You'll be able to get free hits on it, and it'll make it easier to complete. Um, Using a water character won't necessarily instantly make you win actually that's as you can see there, that's why we're doing it, just to freeze the character that way. But like I was saying, it's not actually a way to completely just dominate or make the domain easy. It will make it easier and will allow you to get through more consistently without necessarily having to run double healers and all that. But just abusing the fact that we're able to freeze it here. As you can see, there's a few seconds where you cannot freeze it, but the interval where you can is actually quite short. So you can proc several procs of the freeze and get a bunch of free hits off there. Now, if we move on to the second part, notice that we'll go to the second part of my comp here, so Razor and Fischl. And if we take a look at my Razor here, so he's actually using the default sword, and I don't even have artifacts on him. I'm not even saying that I have bad artifacts. I don't have any artifacts at all on him. The reason I highlight that is that with the Fischl and Razor procs of damage, so I altered there to get the Electro procs and to increase my attack speed, we're actually abusing the ley line that I put the description at the bottom there so you could see it. We're abusing a superconduct buff in this domain where it's going to proc an AoE damage onto the enemy here when every time you proc superconduct. The reason why we're not using fire and water or to do a vaporize or a melt in this domain is actually because you'll be killing yourself. So unless you have some kind of crazy healer, then you'll be sticking to the superconduct debuff to just abuse this until you can get through these shields. After you break the shield, it doesn't really matter what you use. You can proc the fire damage if you'd like. But yeah, the superconduct will definitely be the way to go there. And like I said, the reason why I highlighted the Razor's low level weapon is that you just have to proc electro damage onto the shield. It doesn't necessarily have to be a strong one. Now, the last thing I would say is that it didn't happen in this domain, but depending on how bad your RNG is, it will definitely be necessary to bring an archer into this domain, because at times, if it takes you longer to kill the rune guard, there might be a stage of his attacks where he goes up into the air out of reach of your melee attacks and will start firing down the rockets. At some point, you might have noticed that rune guards do sometimes attack that way. This one is no different. And if you're not running an archer, you will unfortunately not be able to bring the rune guard back down and you'll just end up timing out. So just not to forget to bring archers and then to bring in water and electro characters. In this case, Fischl fills in both roles. So just having her is ideal. And Razor again is there for the double procs of electro damage. So with that, that's pretty much how to complete the geo artifact farming on a more consistent basis. It's not necessarily a one tip to make it easy um, kind of video, but it's more so just a way to be more consistent with it because having to restart a domain is never the most interesting thing. So that's about it for this domain. So with that, if you made it this far, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. And if you did enjoy this or find it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you took a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if you have anything you'd like me to cover, leave it in the comments below, and I'd be happy to cover it.